Time for another episode of Name That Space Movie.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is just going to be a quick, little second segment of Name That Space Movie. And I just thought I'd bring up some points if you've watched my videos in the past. I erased many because they were so repetitive, but I just wanted to get to a couple of points here. For one of the things that I even brought up to Disney was why wouldn't you investigate? Because when George Lucas was selling Star Wars to Disney, I suggested that maybe they should look into it and themselves and investigate and see if what I was saying isn't true. If you can prove that what I'm saying is completely not true, then why not do it? I mean, for instance, the fact that George Lucas's cousin lived around the corner from me in 1974 when he stole Jedi Knights and the Force from me when I was 7 in 1974. His cousin lived around the corner, and I swear it was Jack Hamburger at 5707 Robinwood Road. There's always the possibility that I was mistaken and his name wasn't Jack Hamburger and he was in the next house, 5709. Either way, for you to be able to go back and prove that what I'm saying isn't true would be the first point. And that's my question to you all. And I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to say it straight to your face, and I'm not going to, hide behind this little caption here, so I'm going to ask you directly. So the question is, all of you big fans of Star Wars, don't you want to know that what I'm saying, if you don't want to believe it, is that what I'm saying isn't true? Wouldn't you want to know? So ask the question of Disney and George Lucas to investigate. Just ask them. Investigate. Prove that Jack Hamburger, George Lucas's cousin, did not live around the corner from me in 1974. That he wasn't there to take Jedi Knights and the Force from me. Prove it. Prove it, because I had the paper in my possession until 1999 that said Jedi Knights and the Force that I wrote on in 1974. That's 3 years before Star Wars came out, ladies and gentlemen. And if it wasn't proof, then why did they bother to steal it from my possessions that were stuck in my mother's storage? They stole my whole sleeve, which had my medical records, my immunization record, my birth certificate from when I was a kid, because my mother had these document sleeves and she stored all of my brother's stuff in theirs. Each one of us had our own document sleeve, and mine had the little piece of paper that said Jedi Knights and the Force in there from 1974, West Palm Beach, Florida. And I went in the house and wrote it on the paper and put it in my document sleeve. It was in there from 1974. So if it wasn't proof, then why did they steal it? That's my question to you all. Okay, if it wasn't proof, why did they steal my stuff? How did they find out about it? That's another good question. Well, either I was betrayed by someone in my family, which I'm still really hoping that's not what happened, because nobody in my family has really gained anything. But as far as the paper itself, how did they find out? Now, I asked my brothers twice on the phone to go retrieve it, and neither one of them did, and my whole document sleeve disappeared. And my brothers, both of theirs are still there. But how mine was right there with them. How would mine be gone? So the evidence was right there. Anybody who's not asking the question, if you think Star Wars is great, that's fine. Did you can just think it's fine and not at least ask the question? Prove that it's not true. Prove that it wasn't involved in criminal activity. Prove that it's clean and straight. Prove it, okay? Because you can't, because the evidence was there. They stole it. Prove that his cousin didn't live around the corner from me, and you can't, because he did. George Lucas stole Jedi Knights and the Force from me in 1974. Wake up. If you really love Star Wars, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you found out this way, because I liked it until 1999 when I started remembering what happened, because I forgot about it. My life has been kind of like rough. I grew up, very poor, moved around a lot. A lot of bad things happened to us. My parents were divorced, and there was a lot. Just too much. You can't imagine unless you were me, and then you would know exactly. Okay, so You can call me crazy, you can call me whatever you want, but investigate it. Prove that I'm not telling the truth. Okay? One last note. If they knew where my document sleeve was, and it was them who took it and not someone in my family who betrayed me, then they were tapping my phones, which means the FBI has in fact been illegally disseminating classified information, because again, I'll explain that if they're tapping your phones, those records are then classified. They're not to be revealed to anyone unless you're unmasked. And if you're unmasked to someone who's not doesn't have classified clearance, that becomes a crime. It's a crime called illegal dissemination of classified information. And thus, if George Lucas, in fact, bought the information and they were tapping my phones and listening to me and knew where my red document sleeve was and took my piece of paper and all my stuff from my childhood, all my paperwork, then they committed a crime. And I hope it gets discovered. And I hope that you're smart enough that if you love Star Wars so much that you ask them to investigate, because otherwise you're a question mark too. I have one more quick question for all of you too who love Star Wars and people who've watched my videos. Look, please share this video, because even if you doubt the truth, I'm sure everybody wants to know the truth, even if you're in denial or if you don't believe it. The reason why I say that is because if you go back and look at one of my videos back before they started putting an algorithm on me, one of my videos had almost hit 50,000. It got up to 49,000 within less than 2 months. And all of a sudden it literally stopped almost in its tracks. It was like 49,600 views. It took me almost five years to hit 50,000 on that video. So how did I get to 49 and then just almost virtually stop? They put the algorithm because they're trying to stop the truth from getting known. And I guess Lucasfilm is working with the YouTube to stop this. So I revamped this video. I had already posted it, but I took it down and I reposted it with this question. And this last little segment I added to it to ask you that question. If they were not trying to stop the truth from being known, then why are they putting an algorithm on me? Most of my videos get like 19, 20 views within months, almost a month now. So please share this, share it with everybody. Ask the question yourself, and if you want to know the truth, then why not share it and let everybody say, hey, you know, and if everybody asks the questions, then maybe they'll consider looking into it.
Name that space movie.